What's up guys, Nate again. And today I wanted to do kind of a video response to my friend Craig over at the TV and Lust channel. He uploaded a video today about his favorite or most fondly remembered Super Nintendo games from his childhood. And it got me thinking about some of my favorite games too. So I figured while I was still thinking about it, I might as well do something similar. Not to rip him off or anything, but you know how YouTube goes. You kind of that's how it works. First though, obviously, would be Super Mario World. This is the pinnacle of 2D platformers in my opinion. Still my favorite Mario game of all time, and probably my favorite platformer of all time as well. It just improved on the Mario formula in every way imaginable, and I can't say enough good things about it. It's still probably my top 5 games of all time. Up next we have Super Buster Brothers. Maybe not the most fondly remembered game by a lot of people. Maybe you never played it or heard of it. It's called Pang in the arcade. But my neighbor actually had this as a kid, and I guess I should stay before I get too much further. I didn't have a Super Nintendo until probably '94. I had a Genesis. For some reason, my 9th birthday or my 10th birthday, I guess, I wanted to buy a Genesis because Sonic the Hedgehog was cool, and I don't know. So I never owned a Super Nintendo until a few years later. But my neighbor across the street had one, and I played his all the time, pretty much every day, as well as pretty much all my friends had one too. But anyway, I digress. My neighbor owned this game, and I used to play the shit out of it because you'd play any game that you had access to. So there's quite a few games in this stack for my neighbor that I played a lot of, and this was one of them. It's kind of an arcadey style game. The objective is to basically pop all the bubbles on the screen. Starts out with some big bubbles, and as you pop them, they burst into smaller bubbles, and basically just eliminate all the bubbles on the screen, don't get hit, and continue. Really fun. Check it out. I think it's on, I don't know, maybe just Super Nintendo, and there's a Game Boy version, but it's in the arcade too. And up next we have Goof Troop. This is criminally underrated. It's one of the best co-op games on the Super Nintendo in my opinion. You can play it single player, but it's really fun and really meant for 2 people. It's kind of a puzzly, top-down action game. Not really much to say about it. It's really good, though. You should check it out. And up next we have Donkey Kong Country 1. Of the 3 on the Super Nintendo, this is probably my favorite. I didn't play 2 or 3 until much later on in life, and but I played 1 probably more times than I could count. So that one gets the vote for this series, I suppose. But yeah, not much to say about it. I guess it has some really great music. Some of my favorite music of all time, actually, on the Super Nintendo. Alright, now here's a game that I know is not good. It's pretty bad, but it's Ren and Stimpy Veediots. Once I finally did get a Super Nintendo, my neighbor next door, she went to the military, and when she was in basic training, she basically gave me all her video game stuff that she had, including a Super Nintendo with Mario World, this Ren and Stimpy game, and this other game called Rexroad Experimental Surgeon, which is really expensive now. I'd kind of like to own it again. It's a terrible game where you run around inside of a human body, and the first level you're laser beaming plaque off of some dude's teeth while fighting little miniature robots inside this guy's body. It's a really weird game, not very good, but really rare because I guess nobody bought it. But anyway, I used to have it, and I wish I still had it because I'm trying to collect all the games I had from childhood. Anyway, I digress again. But this game's not very good either. It's Ren and Stimpy. It's by THQ. I mean, it's basically what you would expect from a mascot platformer based on a TV show in that era. They're all kind of the same, just kind of wonky controls, and they exist. But I played that game a lot. I have really fond memories of it, so it gets on the list. Next is Mega Man X. Actually, go ahead and do Mega Man X2 and Mega Man X3 as well. All 3 of these games are my childhood in my hand. Mega Man X is probably my favorite Mega Man game. Yeah, I can't argue that. It's my favorite Mega Man game. I know it inside and out. It just took all the good things about Mega Man and added a sense of speed and just, I don't know, it's just fantastic. The Then X2 basically is the same formula, and X3 was basically the same formula again, but pretty difficult. X3 is pretty hard, and both of these are relatively expensive, especially complete in box. But X1 you can still get for maybe $20, $30 complete, and maybe $15 loose. But I don't know why I'm talking to you guys about Mega Man X, because you've probably played it. It's good, but play it again, because it's fucking good. Next game from my neighbor is a game called Skull Jagger, The Revolt of the Westikins. This game, I'm not even going to try to pretend that it's good, because it's not good. But I played it a lot because it was one game that I had access to. You know, like, everything as a kid is awesome, because it's something new to you. But this game, it's a generic kind of action platformer. You're this guy with a sword, and you have these little bubblegum power-ups where you can, like, go inside of a bubble and bounce around, and it's okay. It's not great. It has a lot of, like, really weird Mode 7 special effects where they tried to, like, you know, be flashy back then. But one of those games that holds a place in my heart for one reason or another. But yeah, it's not terrible, but it's also not really that good. A game that is really good and surprising to me, actually, because I'm not really a sports fan, but I love Super Baseball 2020. Pretty sure this is a SNK game. It may have been an arcade game as well, but SNK always made really fun games, especially sports games like Baseball Stars on the NES was really good too. But Super Baseball is basically baseball with robots, and yeah, I don't know. There's nothing like really crazy about it, but just the art style and just the theme of the game is more interesting to me than just some regular baseball players playing baseball. This is like space ball. Coined to that shit. Copyright. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, well, yeah, I guess it says based on the arcade game. So, yeah, it was an arcade game. Yeah, check it out, though. It's good. It's a good baseball game. And up next is Super Mario Kart. My neighbor actually had this as well. He had a lot of good games, come to think of it. And we used to play this game pretty much all the time. Not much else to add about Super Mario Kart. It's just, you know, the first Mario Kart. And it set the stage for 7 more. What are we on? Mario Kart 8 now? Yeah. So like 7 more games. That's not too bad. And up next is another game that defined my childhood, and that is Street Fighter II Turbo. I played this game religiously with my friends in the arcade and on the Super Nintendo. Probably put more time into this than almost any other game in my childhood. We played the shit out of Street Fighter. But yeah, not much to add. I mean, everybody's played Street Fighter 2 before. And up next is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. I did not play this game until probably high school, so I was probably like 98 or 99. Like I said, I didn't have a Super Nintendo as a kid. My neighbor actually didn't own this game either. So this game I played after Ocarina of Time, which is strange to me because I loved Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 on the NES, and I guess just not having a Super Nintendo, I was just never like hyped for this game like a lot of people were. But once I actually did play it, I fell in love with it. It's one of my favorite Zelda games, hands down. And I wish I'd played it when I was younger, because I think I would have appreciated it a little more, or maybe have more nostalgia for it, because I don't really have any nostalgia for it. I love the game, but it doesn't have the same like feeling that the original 2 Zeldas, or even Link's Awakening has. But yeah, I still love it, and I figured I'd add it on here, because even though I didn't play it as a kid, I mean, I was like 16, so I was still a kid, so close enough, but love it. Good game. And up next is Yoon Erasers. This is like unicycle racing game. One of my favorite racing games, actually. Me and my friend Dustin used to play this game all the fucking time. It's really, really hard, actually. Once you get the hang of the controls, it's not so bad, but it's got a steep learning curve and a lot of room for error. If you fuck up, like, you can some races, if you fuck up once, you're pretty much done. It's like impossible to catch back up. But there's some stages where it's like a half pipe where you have to do tricks and like earn points, and you pass the level by, you know, getting a certain score. Excuse me. And then there's the other levels where you're just a straight race. A lot of fun. Super highly recommended, so check it out. And finally, a game I've wanted to talk about for quite some time is Mario Paint. I actually did a video of this late last year, but I wasn't really happy with how it turned out, so I never uploaded it. Maybe one of these days I'll revisit this game to do a video on, but needless to say, my neighbor got this for Christmas. When did this come out? 92? He probably got it that year for Christmas, because I remember that day I went over to their house, and we proceeded to play this for the rest of the night, just drawing dicks and butts and boobs on random things, and just painting that Super Mario World Yoshi picture that's in the coloring book thing in here. Playing a little fly swatter game. I don't know. There's just so many little things about this game that really bring me back to my childhood. And I love it. I wish they would make another one. I like that they brought a lot of the little nods from this game over to Mario Maker. That made me really happy to see, but I'd love to see another traditional Mario Paint game. The gamepad would be super good for that too, so maybe the NX will have some similar functionality and they can do that, because I don't think they're planning on doing any other big games for the Wii U anytime soon. But Mario Maker, or Mario Paint, is a game that definitely needs to make a comeback, because it's just really fun. It's fun to have just a creative outlet for kids to just dick around, literally. Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Super Nintendo is one of my favorite systems of all time. Despite not having it as a kid, I got to play it from my neighbor, and all my friends had one, so I wasn't deprived. If anything, having a Genesis for myself and then having everybody else that I knew had a Super Nintendo kind of was cool, because I got to experience both sides. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. Just wanted to kind of share some of my childhood games and get you guys' thoughts. What are some games that you guys played as kids that you have fond memories of? Maybe games that aren't quite as well known that maybe you rented a lot, or maybe you just got a random game for Christmas that maybe wasn't a very good game, but you still enjoyed it because it was yours and you forced yourself to like it. But anyways, if you guys had anything to add, please leave it in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're not subscribed, because I do a lot of videos where I just talk about video games. Actually, that's all I do on this channel. But anyways, guys, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Take it easy.